Alright, so now we will focus on Tribal versus Shadow. So we've got the 4v4 and 2v2. I think that I will start with the 4v4. So we've got Viking, Burmese, Slavic and Mongol. Alright. Yes, thank you, Bandit. Okay, I will have a quick check about the civilization to be sure I didn't make any mistake. Burmese, Slavic, Mongol. It looks fine. Alright, here we go. So we will have two remaining matches in this group. Tribal versus Nagua and Beginner versus Tribal. I'm pretty sure that Tribal vs Nagua is gonna be quite decisive. And for having already 8 points, I think that Shadow is already qualified for the round 3. Well, I think that Shadow tends to be better in team games than Tribal, especially because Pocket and Flanks play pretty well together. I think that the synergy is better than Tribal side. And the 2v2 might be pretty close. I think that it's gonna be a great game. But I see Shadow winning the 4. But there is a huge difference between Tribal and Nagua, so we should see pretty different games than what we just saw between Shadow and Nagua. Especially because Tribal focuses a lot on the military, while Nagua focuses more on the economy. You threw Bandit. In fact, I had this in mind, but I didn't want to explain this. You did it pretty well. In fact, it's possible to have a full tie between Tribal, Shadow and Nagua, and in that case we would have a 2v2v2 in a sort of tie break. So it would be funny, but we are actually far from this anyway. Fireball. I think that a 2v2v2 can be a disaster for anyone anyway, because it's really random in this scenario which are possible. But besides it, I think that it will be really funny. I'm surprised by the tower from the blue area which is in the back of the town, and I also noticed that the maps are really open each side. Maybe red have a more protected city because of the big forest on the sides. I think that Shadow didn't, not Shadow, Orange didn't find Grey because it sent its skirmishers in the wrong side. combination here from green against orange. And same for blue. Actually, I don't get what happens with those stupid skirmishers from tribal going in the wrong side. Alright, so let's see what happens with the pockets. Uh, 43 villagers for blue, 36 for red, 41 for grey, and 40 for orange. Wow, that's already a lot of knights. Green until attacking with the same flank. It looks to be a strategy which already happened in the previous game against Nagua. Alright, we've got elephant from yellow. Got a double harassment from blue. And orange is gonna lose its world skirmishes. We've got 3 GCs from the both of the pockets tribal side, but there is maybe a lack of knights at this point. Everyone is actually coming on purple. red is pushing, but it's still in feudal age, while blue is close to the castle age. Skirmishers are stuck. Like yellow is gonna be the next victim. Red is not really researching castle age, but it's pretty low population. I think it's time to go for the speed. It's gonna be interesting to see if the issue which appears with skirmishers in this corridor will happen again but in fact this corner of the map was where the skirmishers were sent for some reasons. Alright, GG Shadow. So actually we won't have a tie between Shadow, Nagua and Tribal. With this victory I think that Shadow is obviously top 1. Alright, let's see if the 2v2 is gonna be better. So I'm gonna have a check, but I think that Chinese might be the second civilization for Tribal. Yep, Viking and Chinese. Alright, yes, Barbarian or Ryuboom are gonna be the next opponents. And if I'm right, Shadow did already play against Ryuboom in Davis Cup 6, I think, at the quarter of the finals. But it was a single elimination, so this time it's gonna be a double elimination. So despite the fact that one of those guys will have to play against Ryuboom, it will have the opportunity to keep running in this tournament in losers bracket, unless at least Ryuboom is defeated. Let's see. All right. So at least to have a good fight, I just expect the tribal skirmishers to not bug like it happens in the 4v4. Oh, the scout is gonna fight to get this deer. Okay, so it's gonna be a success eventually. Looks like Red did find a deer to lure. And same for Yellow, fair enough. Alright, time to explore tribal side. It looks like everything has been found. Everyone is researching Feudal Age. Green is a bit late compared to the other players. Player 2 does have 22 civilian population compared to the others, so it's one villager less. So if Shadow wins, this 2v2 is guaranteed to be top 1. And in any case I think that it's qualified. Okay, let's compare the military population. Blue has 12, 7 for red, 10 for green, and 12 for yellow. Oh fuck, once again yellow is just sending its military population to the wrong side. So stupid. Okay, yellow comes back. Nice harassment from green, at least with the scouts. It looks like red feels more confident now. I don't know why green is retreating. Alright, bye bye the scouts. It looks like Yellow broke the brain eventually. Okay, so overall the game is pretty close. We got what we wanted to see. Skirmishers fighting against each others. I'm pretty sure that Kimberly would like to be here and watch this fight. Well, it looks like the bug trigger once only in the very beginning of Feudal Age. It was really unfortunate when it happened in the 4v4, but definitely it's something that I will need to fix in case Tribal qualify for the next round. Why Yellow is just sending some units here. It makes no sense. What's the fight between red and green? So let's see. Blue is not too far from researching Castle Age. Red is researching Castle Age. Green is far from researching Castle Age. And Yellow is in Castle Age. So we will have age advantage tribal side actually. And that's a huge advantage, I think, because Tribal will go for elite skirmishers, which should give it a huge advantage. Big strategies for red, one stable. Yellow was not too far from... no, it was blue. Yeah, blue is researching castle, and green is very late. Interesting to see if blue goes for elite skirmishers. Not it doesn't. It's a shame because it does have a lot of skirmishers. Okay, it does research real skirmishers right now. That's good. Got some direct control to attacks the tower, but for some reasons the knights are retreating from the tower. Okay, they're back. That's a pretty interesting game. Okay, so there is a lake of gold now for green. Alright, it used the market. It did have extra food. So here we go. So we've got one stable and one siege workshop for blue. It is actually not using the siege workshop for anything. Alright, crossbows are doing a great job here. It's overall a pretty good defense from blue, really. I really would like to see one mangonel added to the skirmishes and crossbows. Yes, fireball, in fact, one mangonel is missing. What's about the other side? That's so many towers from green. All over the place. At this point, maybe one ram would help red, but at this point I don't see any siege workshop. Alright, crossbows. Let's compare the civilian population. Red is blue, sorry, is almost 40 military population and 50 civilian population. Red is actually 100 civilian population and 40 military population. Green is okay, green is in very bad shape. And okay, yellow is 105 and 60 military population. So the game looks to be pretty over. So overall I think that in fact from what we saw in the 1v1 and 2v2, Shadow looks to be dominant. In flank versus flank, but the team games is clearly at the advantage of Shadow, which is really stronger as pocket player. Just looking for rams. Okay, we've got one ram, but it's not used. Okay, it is eventually sent. Alright, GG. I think I will go 4 times the speed, despite the fact that it will break the micro from the units. Alright, so Shadow did play its wall games in round 2. It won 4-0 against Beginner, 3-1 against Nagua, and 2-2 versus Rival. So, 9 points. Okay, we've got one on the left. I think I've got time for at least one more game. Could be Barbarian versus Ryugo, maybe? Okay, we'll give it a call.